Electrical design and documentation are the heart and soul of any industrial automation project. Drawout provides various solutions to your electrical documentation needs. Zen Configurator takes a configured-to-product approach for your panels. We transfer your standard concepts to Zen, so Zen makes solutions suited to your requirements and generates drawings based on your configuration and customization. For this example, we will be creating a panel for a car washing system. The system could be a basic version containing fewer components and instruments. The system could also be an advanced version containing a few more rollers and instruments. A project is created in the Zen Configurator by providing the name and description of the project. Once in the project, the user can create all the panels required for the project by specifying the name as well as the type of panel you wish to create. We shall go ahead and choose a car wash panel configuration. A panel represents a C electrical project. Depending on the panel configuration, the user can choose the options required for his or her standard panel. In this case, an advanced or basic panel version. Any project or panel details that may be required for panel generation can be provided. The user can also add or remove the components or instruments which are available in the scope of the panel. Here we have turned off some park sensors. We can also change the predefined data available in the fields. Once all the required details have been provided, the user can click Process, and the PDF and compressed workspace will be generated. The request has been sent to the job server and is being processed. The panel has been successfully generated. The user can now download a zip folder containing the output files. The zip file contains the C electrical project file and the PDF. The user can also set up the configuration to provide other documents and files that may be required along with panel documentation. The user's standard concepts have been implemented through the admin. In this case, the car wash system. The Settings tab provides an area for creation of all variables, symbols, and templates. Variables can either be of type, page, project, or macro, depending on what value it should hold. The Macros section is where we list all the symbols to be used in the panel. We also specify the variables used in the symbols. Templates section lists out all the pages used within the panel. Templates are designed to specify where symbols are placed on the page and also to assign values to variables. Multiple variations of a template can be combined into a single template by defining datasets that incorporate different symbols and variable values. The heading section is used to specify certain labels of each field used in the configuration. These helps user to see what each field in the UI represents. Configuration tab is used to build up an easy-to-use UI for our configurable control system. You can specify titles, string fields, drop-downs, toggles, etc. that would be required for the creation of the UI. The way it is created here is exactly how the user sees it in the client. The front-end configurations helps to further specify how each aspect of the UI should interact with the user. One can specify mandatory fields, predefined options, drop-down values, etc. to be seen by the client. The Properties tab helps to connect the project and page properties present in the C electrical workspace to the various fields defined in the UI. The Panel Files section is the area where the user can upload all the C electrical files required for the panel configuration. It can be the workspace template, symbol file, type database, and template files. The front-end to back-end matrix connects the templates defined in the Settings tab to the UI in the Configuration tab. The folder structure helps to define the output of a panel configuration. PDFs, backups, datasheets, manuals, etc. can be added to the required folder. With Drawout Workspace, we provide users with a flexible platform to design and generate documentation and manufacturing data for non-standardized control systems. Unlike the Zen configurator, which are configured to product, the Drawout Workspace takes a generalized approach to your panels. A project is created in the workspace by providing the name and description of the project. All details that may be required during the creation of the project are configured based on the requirements of the user. Preference is selected to start of the project. More details will be mentioned later. Once in the project, the user can export the equipment list or tag list. He or she can provide details of all consumers and instruments present within the system, which can then be imported into the workspace. The user could also add any component individually. The function, location, and product of the component, along with fields mentioned like description, are configured based on the user equipment list requirements. There could also be component-specific fields. In this case, it is required to enter the electrical specifications of the motor selected. All templates associated with the consumers and instruments are listed under each component. The user can go ahead and select whatever is applicable for that component. There could be multiple variations of a single template. The required variation of the template can be selected by choosing options from the case navigator. In this case, we could either select a VFD connection of a 3-phase motor with or without a service switch. All the panels present in the plant could be listed under the panel section. All panel fields are configurable and can be set up as per the user's requirements. The user now has the ability to designate the specific panel to which each component is connected. A preview of the component template is seen. The symbols used in the template and their variables are listed at the bottom. Infrastructure components are the common elements shared by all equipment and are mostly found in the panel. They could be a safety relay, transformer, 24-volt DC supply, etc. All operations in the tag list could be performed here. Workspace provides an array of powerful tools and features, empowering you to create new CPUs and nodes effortlessly. With just a few clicks, you can define and customize the hardware configuration of your CPU and nodes, according to the unique requirements of your project. The user can create all the CPUs and node present in the project. We understand that every project has its own preferences and specifications of PLCs. The workspace calculates the inputs required for the creation of CPU, based on your preference selected at the start of the project. The users can also select the name, manufacturer, and series of the PLC that is different from what the workspace calculates. The user can now assign addresses to the tag list and the infrastructure components. There are many ways to do this. The user can select the tag list or infrastructure component and assign to a node. The workspace automatically calculates the number of I/O addresses required and creates a hardware configuration of the selected node. The overview of the hardware configuration are viewed here. The I/O address list shows all the addresses present. This is calculated with the starting address entered during the creation of the node. It also shows how various tag list and infrastructure components are assigned to the particular node. Further, the user could export the I/O address list for further PLC programming requirements. Let's now look at a project with a completed hardware configuration. There is also an option to create a node in manual mode. This is one such node. In case of nodes which have been created in manual mode, the user could create their own hardware configuration. In this case, a digital card of the required terminal base has been added. In the manual mode, the user can override the default settings of the hardware configuration and make one on their own. The user could also assign addresses through this I/O list. Here we have selected the tag list component, which requires a DO address. The address has been assigned. The user could also view all the addresses that needs to be assigned in the infrastructure and the tag list. The user could directly assign the address one by one to the required node. The preferences is used to start up a project. As the name suggests, you can set up a predefined settings with which the project works. Let's take a look at the Siemens preference used in the demo project. When you are working with multiple industries or different clients, there is a need to filter out the templates you see in your project. This is done by template groups. The user can set the required template group here. WORKSPACE provides intelligent solution to select the parts required for your instrument and consumer needs. In the Components tab, the user could set up the manufacturers and series of required panel components. In the Lookup tab, the user could select the way in which the parts are looked up from the WORKSPACE parts database. The criterions are user customizable and is done in the admin. In the example here, the user can select the electrical current specification of the 24-volt DC supply. Here we have chosen the 10 amperes output. You can see that parts have been selected for the current requirement. The WORKSPACE also looks up parts that change with the types of instruments used. In this case, a motor of current rating 0.7 amperes is used. The MCCB selected for this requirement is a 0.55 to 0.8 ampere Siemens MCCB. In the Reference tab, the user can define how each power consumers and instruments are powered. In most cases, it connects the infrastructure components to the tag list components. Once all details have been provided, and the user wishes to generate the panel, the user can send a request to generate the required panel. The request will be handled and processed by the job server and auto-generation of the panel begins. Like the Zen configurator, the user can download a backup and the PDF of the panel requested. In short, WORKSPACE is an advanced platform that unites individuals from various disciplines, encompassing mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and PLC programmers. It provides a single space for coordinating data flow throughout the project, allowing each stakeholder to access specific smart functions. Let's see how we can set up such a workspace. Admin side of the workspace is divided into 3 parts. 1. Template setting. 2. Workspace setting. 3. Part database setting. In the Template Settings tab, we define the templates for drawings for each components. All variables used in the symbols are listed in the Variables tab. The variables could be of type, page, project, or macro. There is also an option to specify the default variable source. In the workspace, value to a variable could be calculated from different areas. These values can be accessed through these variable sources. It may be data like name, type, and ratings of a field component entered by the user, or the database for values related to a particular component, or it can be a string where we can manually enter the values and so on. All the symbols required in the workspace are listed under the Macros tab. The user must select all the variables that have been defined in the symbols. Here the user can create some default cases. They are used to specify the different variations that might occur in a single template. The options of each cases represents a variation of the template. The socket set provides users to define a list of XY coordinates that is required for the placement of all symbols in the template. In the Templates section, all templates that is used in the workspace is listed. The basic details shows the template details like name and component type, for which it is used for. The socket set for this template is chosen. It defines where the symbols are placed in the template. For sockets assigned to cases, there will be multiple options to assign symbols. This is so to accommodate different variations of template. In this case, this socket has been assigned to a service switch case. The option can either be yes or a no. Here we set up symbols and sockets particular to the hardware configuration. We can see a list of all the PLCs that this particular workspace uses. First of all, we define the sockets of the main overview of our PLC configuration. Next we define XY coordinate where the reference overview of each card is to be placed. Under the Components tab, all the PLC cards under this series is listed. For each part, we select the symbol placed for main overview, reference overview, and if applicable, accessories are chosen. We can also set the default order in which the cards are to be arranged. There is also an area to list the defaults of I/O cards. In files, various files like C electrical workspace template, circuit diagram template, symbols, and type database can be uploaded. Workspace Setting tab is used to define the fundamental elements of a workspace. Basic project represents the workspace templates in which the panel is to be generated. A user can have more than one customer projects that would require different take on a project. The user can customize the details required in the pop-ups during creation of the project and panel. Like in the Zen configurator, we need to relate the page and project properties of the workspace to the values entered in the pop-ups. The various files needed for project are uploaded in the Files tab. The fields which appear when we add a new component in the tag list are defined in this section. Some fields may be common to all components, whereas some may be component-specific. We can configure tag definition aspect like function, location, and product according to IEC RDS 81346. But if a client uses their own reference designation system, we can also incorporate it into Workspace with ease. Part database is collection of component data available for our workspace. The admin user have access to these components and they can make any part database changes as required. Revolutionize the way you manage tasks and improve your productivity. Drawout App allows you to organize your work and priorities effectively. Experience an upgraded way of managing your tasks and elevate your productivity levels.